Okay guys, in the last two videos, we learned how to create a model-driven form. But if you have a look at the model, we are calling this new form control multiple times. Now this might seem okay at first, but if the form contains, let's say, 20 to 30 fields, the code kind of looks messy. And for this reason, we have the FormBuilder class. Now the FormBuilder class, as the name suggests, is used to build forms. And it is just a syntactical improvement in creating a model-driven form. So in this video, let's see how to use the FormBuilder class. Now let's start off by removing this form control because we don't need that anymore. Instead, we are going to be using the FormBuilder. So import FormBuilder. Now let's comment this piece of code over here, but I'm going to leave it there so you can compare the two approaches. And the first thing we are going to do is let's create a property called user form, this one, that is going to represent our model. So user form, and this is going to be of type form group. Now remember, every form is a form group. Next, we need to create an instance of this FormBuilder class, and the way we are going to do that is using the ES 2015 syntax. So we're going to be using the constructor and then this is going to take private, and I'm going to explain in just a bit what this does. FormBuilder of type FormBuilder. Alright, so this is the ES 2015 shorthand syntax for creating an instance of this FormBuilder. So this is basically, let's say, a local variable that we are going to be using to refer to this instance of FormBuilder. So now we are going to create the form, but the form we are going to implement it in the ng-on-init lifecycle hook. Now we are going to talk about lifecycle hooks in Angular in the later part of the series, but for now let's try to understand just the ng-on-init lifecycle hook. Now over here next to component, I'm also going to import on-init, and I need to extend this export class app component, implement on-init, implements on-init, and now if you have a look, it says it doesn't implement the ng-on-init. So over here I'm gonna have ng-on-init, and in here we are going to create the model for this form. So we are going to start off with this dot user form. So this right here, the property. So this dot user form is equal to, now we have an instance of this FormBuilder class and we are going to be making use of that instance. So this dot underscore FormBuilder, and the FormBuilder class provides a method called group. So we are going to be using that to create this form. So we're going to open this, and if you have a look, the first form field is name. So we're going to specify name, and then the array, the first one or the first part of this array is the default value. So let's go with Brandon, since we had the default value as Brandon over here as well. And then the second parameter, or the second thing that we are going to specify, is this added validation list. So we are going to have the required field validator, a min length, and a max length. So I'm going to copy this and paste it right over here. Alright, the next thing we need is the email form field. So email, but we don't have any specifications, so it's just going to be empty. And then we're going to have address. But if you notice again, address is not a new form control, it's a new form group. So again, we're going to say this dot underscore FormBuilder dot group. Then this in turn is going to take street. This is going to be empty as well. And then we are going to have a city, which is going to be empty as well. And then we're going to have the postal code, and this is going to, the default value will be null, but we have the validation, and the validation is a validator pattern So I'm going to copy this and let's paste it over here. So now we have the exact same thing that we did in the previous video, but now with the FormBuilder class. And that's it. So now when we save this, let's go back to our form. It's reloading. All right, so let's check. Let's see if all the validations still work. Now I'm going to remove the complete name, and it says please enter a name. And I'm going to say 3 characters. It's going to say please enter at least 4 characters. And I'm going to go with more than 10 characters, and it says name cannot exceed 10 characters. And the same with postal code. If I go with 3 numbers, it's going to say postal code format is 5 digits. So let's submit something that is valid. Let's go back with Brandon, and the postal code is 12345. And let me also open the console so that you can have a look at the data that is getting submitted. So over here, I'm going to click. Okay, let's go with an email. rob@email.com, street, Baker, and then the city, London. So now when I click on submit, I get the object. So I still get the address object again, which in turn contains the city, postal code, and street. And we also have the name and email. All right, so that's pretty much how you create a form using this FormBuilder class. It's the exact same model-driven form, but with a better syntax. So thank you guys for watching, and in the next video, let's see something new.